Mesa, Dominic Doyle on the front row of the grid. The first round of the REV'IT Twins Cup 2023 is go. They didn't hold them long, and it's another perfect start for Blake Davis. Not a great start from Dominic Doyle, who is swallowed up by the pack as they go into turn one. And do they all make it safely through? Yes, they do. No, they don't. No, they don't. And there's a couple of riders that go down at the back. And unfortunately for those two riders, they will play no further part in this race. Hard on the brakes. And another rider there, was that Hayden Schultz possibly, or maybe Mesa, and it's Mesa. Stefano Mesa with a problem. He makes a mistake going into what is classed as turn 3 on our track map, but it's Blake Davis out front, and it looks like one of the rodeo machines there in second place. Look at that, glistens with the sunlight just catching it. Yeah,
Dominic Doyle third there. Blake's wide into the...
Yeah, Blake makes a big mistake. Here's a replay at the start, Roger, down towards turn 1, the white wheelies. Oh, Dominic Doyle makes contact, I think, going down into turn 1. We see Mesa also swallowed up a little bit by the pack. Back at the pack, one of the riders runs off, and unfortunately...
the rider had nowhere to go.
Yeah, nowhere to go. That can happen. Both riders are okay. Then into turn 1, Mesa, who was in second place there, had some kind of issue. One of the riders avoiding action. So the race continues at the front. Blake Davis versus one of the rodeo machines. It's so hard to see the numbers from that camera angle as they come into the chicane at the end of the back straight. And as you said already, we have a leading group of about 6 riders. Then there's a little gap back to 7th place.
I believe it's Gus leading.
It looks like Gus, doesn't it? It is, yeah. Gus Rodeo then leads this race, this new partnership between Rodeo Racing and Robum Engineering.
And you're going to see right here how the draft is going to put this whole pack of 5 or 6 riders. They're going to be on top of each other by the time they get to the trial.
As you said, maybe a little bit nervous. The nerves have gone now. He's not thinking about MotoAmerica 2022. He's looking at the 10 wheels ahead of him and thinking, hey, we fancy a bit of this. We can be in the podium or possibly the fight for the win.
Yeah, he's just thinking about how do I close that little bit of a gap I got to make sure that I'm in the draft. And you can see how these guys are swapping positions. This is where I was talking about the tailwind can get you sucked in pretty deep.
And she is shaking her head. There is some serious concern here. I'm not sure at all that he's going to be able to continue here. We'll try and get a little bit more specific info. Once they get a look at the bike, I'll get right back with you.
Thanks, Greg. Great work down there as Hayden Schultz goes around the outside. He's getting a 4-bike slipstream, and Hayden Schultz goes from 5th to 4th to 3rd, and he now has his sights on P1 there. We see on the left-hand side Melissa Paris and Stefano Mesa, and that is just cruel. Looking around the outside, 5th to 1st. Hayden Schultz leads then as we go into lap number 3.
And
that's tight. There's not much room through turn number 1, and neither of them wanting to give best, but in the end, Dominic Doyle had to. Jody Barry down in 9th position, not where we would have expected to see him this early in the
maybe he got
race.
Caught up in something in that first lap, but you can see Jackson Blackman had the best lap of the race that last lap, and I suspect this one here might be Doyle down.
And there's a couple of them down as well, and unfortunately there for the rodeo, but that is Ben Gloddy, and just like 12 months ago, Benjamin Gloddy had nowhere to go, and for the second race, number 1 at Daytona, Gloddy is taken out. I think it was Thomas O'Marcon, his teammate last year, that took him out.
See, 4th place there, 4th rider in line. As he gets on the throttle, it just comes around.
That came around early though,
really
didn't it?
Quick.
Really early, and unfortunately for Ben Gloddy, Jackson Blackman doing a great job to avoid. Here's another angle. And up over the bars, and he's already gone, look. He's already gone, and poor Ben Gloddy just gets tagged.
In the ankle, too.
Dominic Doyle went down big high side, and unfortunately for Ben Gloddy, nowhere to go, and that's really split the group now.
Really split the group up. Not only we lost those guys, but Jackson Blackman now has lost that draft as well. He had nowhere to go. All he could do was slow down.
Well, the good thing was that both riders were on the feet as Gus Rodeo goes back to the front. Blake Davis, the defending champion, and then it is Hayden Schultz. Ed Sullivan had previously just set the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, I mean, every point matters. We've seen last year 2 championships were ended in a tie. So, I mean, all the points count.
Looking a little bit further back, Cody Wyman in 8th position. So we'll go back to the front, and Blake Davis, the defending champion, he now goes back to the front. A lot of chatter from the front of that machine, but it's just so bumpy there. You can't set the bike up just for one corner. You've got to look at the whole lap.
Yeah, and Gus gets a great drive out of the chicane every lap. You can see how he really runs up on him here. Looks like they're kind of breaking the draft a little bit between. Hayden's kind of falling back just a little bit.
Yeah, Hayden Schultz has lost a lot of time on that particular sector. Not sure why, but again, as they go side by side and back into the lead, goes
and these two
Blake
are
Davis.
drafting perfectly, just swapping positions and not getting in the out-braking door where they're slowing each other's corner speed.
Yeah. And again, yeah, you see there, Rodeo very, very smart. He just lets him lead. No need to panic. If this is a glimpse of what is to come, we said it was going to be exciting. We didn't think we'd have so much excitement in the first 3 laps. We've lost a couple of contenders, but nevertheless, there may only be 3 fighting it out for the win, but this is enthralling. It's a game of cat and mouse, and both of these teenagers giving each other just enough space. Hard but fair racing, this.
Yeah, so far.
They come down the back straight, hard on the brakes, maybe second gear, possibly third, depending how you've got it geared. 57.198 that lap, 57.228. You can see the graphic on the screen. There is nothing between these two. They are literally pushing each other. Again, different lines, hard on the brakes. Oh, that's a nice move. That's a nice move. He gets it done. I guess the temptation there for Blake is just to slam the door in his face, but we're not at the last lap yet.
Just see how that draft, everybody's moving around. You can also see how windy it is. You can see the riders kind of moving back and forth.
For Lamandry Jr., the guy that's third in the picture, there he is, the 32. Nice little move on the inside there of Cody Wyman. This is all learning for him, isn't it? He's never been in a Twins Cup race before.
And now they just caught Hayden. He can kind of take a minute, catch his breath, and then figure out what he wants to do with. There's only a lap and a half to go.
Yeah, he thought about making a move, thought better of it. And again, that's a wise decision, isn't it? He now is going to benefit from the slipstream. And this would be a sensational return to the MotoAmerica paddock for Jackson Blackman, who gets a really good run here. And look at the difference there as he goes ahead of Hayden Schultz. 3 seconds quicker on that lap than the rider in second position. We don't know why Davis and Blackman and Schultz are struggling, but Gus Rodeo is on rails.
Yeah, they need to put on his pit board maybe. Slow that finish.
Yeah. I mean, this is insane. He's going to be in Orlando before this race is finished. Incredible mid-race pace then from Gus Rodeo, who is now 6 seconds in 3 laps ahead of Blake Davis. A sensational start to the season and a sensational recovery ride for Jackson Blackman, who now
might get second.
I was going to say, he's now got his sights set on being in second position, and he would then have the bragging rights of being top Yamaha.
I mean, even Hayden could get caught up in here and catch a double draft, and maybe Blake be off the podium.
Yeah, Blake Davis could get caught napping here, the number 1 on that bike, as Jackson Blackman, I thought he was going to be attacked there from the back by Hayden Schultz. Schultz wants the podium, Blackman wants the podium, and Blake Davis wants to kickstart his title defense with 20 points. He's not going to get the win because Gus Rodeo, there he is. He is now 7-8 seconds in the lead of this race as he heads down the back straight. Phenomenal ride, this. And if this is a sign of what is to come, Gus Rodeo, as he goes through the chicane, left and right and left, watch for the wheelie, here it comes. He's just absolutely brimming with confidence. He comes out onto the banking as Blake Davis still hangs on marginally over that second position. I think you're right, Davis is going to be a bit of a sitting duck here as they come up onto the bank. But what a ride for Gus Rodeo. Roger Hayden, he is going to take his first ever win, as Blake Davis did last year. Gus Rodeo wins the opening MotoAmerica REV'IT Twins Cup race, and the question is, who's going to be second? Towards the line, Blackman and Schultz, and you called it, Roger. Over the line then, Blackman takes second on his return to racing, and Hayden Schultz is in third, and the defending champion Blake Davis has to be content with 4th position. You are absolutely on the money there, Roger Hayden. That was spot on.